The Justice Department just charging a California man who was arrested near Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home with attempted murder. Authorities say he was armed and was making threats against the justice.
There's been increased security around the justice's home since that leak of a draft opinion showing the court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. CNN law enforcement correspondent Whitney Wild is with us now. So just before he was arrested, this suspect called authorities. What did he tell them?
Well, what he told them was he was having suicidal thoughts and that he had a firearm in his suitcase. He did have a firearm in his suitcase, according to this indictment that was just released, along with a series of other extremely alarming items. Let me back up and tell you how this all started. 1 a.m., 2 U.S. deputy marshals saw this man exit a taxi. He was dressed in all black. He had a suitcase. He had a backpack. Once he saw those deputy marshals, he turned on his heel and walked down the street. That's when he called 911 and said he was having suicidal thoughts. Once police took him into custody, they found in his backpack and in his suitcase black tactical chest rig, a Glock 17, pepper spray, zip ties, a hammer, screwdrivers, a long list of other items, including hiking boots. And while they were doing this investigation, they read him his Miranda rights, and it was through this interview they did with him in which he said his intention was to kill the Supreme Court justice inside that home and then kill himself. He was angered over the leaked abortion ruling. He was also concerned that the justice would side with the Second Amendment, that he would loosen gun laws. This is another high-profile opinion coming out of the Supreme Court soon. So we have two high-profile Supreme Court opinions coming out, abortion and guns. He was angry about the possible ramifications of both. This is something that Department of Homeland Security officials have been warning about, as well as the FBI, for weeks. Further, he told investigators that he wanted to give his life purpose. And he thought that by doing this act, by killing the Supreme Court justice, who is not named in the indictment, by the way, by killing the Supreme Court justice, he would be able to do that. Again, telling investigators he intended to kill him, the Supreme Court justice, and then himself. He also said that he purchased the Glock 17 as well as other items for this explicit purpose. This is a frightening case. It is eerily similar to a case we just covered on Saturday, where a man killed a former judge in Wisconsin and then killed himself. Again, the real chance of domestic violent extremism geared toward the Supreme Court justices and their staff and others associated with the court is very real. This is the example of the type of crime that federal officials have been warning about since this leaked draft opinion that shows the Supreme Court is very likely to overturn Roe v. Wade happened. Back to you.
Some stunning details there. This man, again, just charged with attempted murder. Whitney Wild for us outside the court. Thank you.
Mr. Attorney General, on the topic of gun violence, a man was arrested early this morning outside the home of Justice Brett Kavanaugh in Maryland with a gun and a knife, threatening to do harm to the justice. What is your reaction to this?
So this kind of behavior is obviously behavior that we will not tolerate. Threats of violence and actual violence against the justices, of course, strike at the heart of our democracy, and we will do everything we can to prevent them and to hold people who do them accountable. For that reason, last month, I accelerated the protection of all the justices' residences 24/7. Also last month, I met with the marshal of the court. I convened a meeting with her, as well as with the deputy director of the FBI, with the director of the Marshal Service, and with our own law enforcement, our own prosecutors, to ensure every degree of protection available as possible. Just yesterday, I met with Judge Salas and Judge Sullivan on the Judicial Security Committee of the Judicial Conference, and assured them of our complete support for their efforts with respect to judicial security.